Hello everyone, this is Amit Brambert, your instructor for CS 110 at Laurel Ridge Community College. Today we are going to go over Chapter 16, World Wide Web. Okay, welcome to Chapter 16, the World Wide Web. In this chapter, we'll explore how the web works, how it differs from the internet, and how information is structured, delivered, and displayed. We'll look at core web technologies like HTML, CSS, URLs, XMLs, and server-side processing. By the end, you'll have a solid understanding of how modern web pages are built and browsers retrieve and present online content. This section outlines our goals. First, we compare the internet, the global network of networks, to the web, which is an information system that runs on top of it. We'll review how the web processes requests and responses. We'll also learn how to create basic HTML files and understand the purpose of major HTML tags. Together, these skills give you the foundation to build simple yet functional web pages. The second set of goals include learning how Java applets and Java server pages work. Although older, these technologies illustrate important ideas about client-side and server-side processing. We'll also compare HTML, which focuses on presentations, with XML, which focuses on meaning. You learn to interpret XML documents, GTDs, and how XML can be styled or transformed into different outputs. The web is an information infrastructure built on top of internet. It includes all the pages, images, videos, and linked documents you can access through web browsers. A web page contains various types of content, and links allow movements from one page to another. These connections form the global web of information that gives the web its name. A website is a collection of related pages under a single domain. A web browser is the software we use to retrieve and display these pages. A web server stores and provides access to this content when requested. Every time you type a URL or click a link, your browser communicates with a server to fetch the appropriate file. A URL, Uniform Resource Locator, specifies where a web page is located, its hostname, and the path to a file. A key question here is the relationship between the internet and the web. The internet is the physical and logical network, while the web is just one application that runs on top of it. Email, video streaming, online gaming, they all use the internet but aren't part of the web. Here, the slide asks, why is the expression visiting a website misleading? You're not actually going to anywhere. Instead, your web browser fetches a copy of page and displays it locally. The server side sends you data, and in reality, the information comes to you, your device, rather than you going to the site. Search engines like Google or Bing help you find websites by indexing billions of pages. They work by crawling the web, analyzing content, and matching queries to relevant results. When you search, the engine compares the keywords to its index and ranks the best matches using algorithms that consider text, links, and user behavior. Instant messaging. Instant messaging allows users to exchange short messages in real time. It functions similarly to texting but uses usernames instead of phone numbers. Some IM platforms offer group chats or chat rooms, enabling multiple users to converse at once. IM remains popular for quick communication, especially before modern messaging apps became widespread. When users run IM applications simultaneously, they can have real-time conversations. Most IM systems rely on proprietary protocols, meaning each service uses its own rules for messaging formatting. Importantly, most instant messages are not secure. They may be unencrypted or stored in ways that expose user privacy. A blog or weblog is an online journal or regularly updated public posting space. Blogs can contain text, images, commentary, tutorial, or news. They were foundational to early social sharing online and continues to be popular for personal expression and professional content. Cookies are small text files saved on your device by websites. They store information such as login status, site preferences, or items in a shopping cart. Cookies help websites recognize returning visitors and personalize content. They are not inherently dangerous. They cannot execute code or access files outside their own data. Web analytics. Web analytics refers to collections and analysis of data about how users interact with websites. Owners use this data to improve site performance, understand audience behavior, and optimize layout and content. Analytics tools track actions like page views, clicks, and time spent on the site. Web analytics. Tools like Google Analytics can show where visitors are located geographically, how they arrive at the site, which pages they visited, how long they stayed, and where they exited. These insights help improve marketing effectiveness and user experience. HTML and CSS. HTML is a language used to build web pages. It's a markup language, meaning it uses tags to annotate content. Tags tell browsers what each piece of text represents: a paragraph, a heading, an image, etc. HTML focuses on structure, not appearance. This slide shows an example of marked up document. Tags wrap content and describe its meaning to browsers. The browser then determines formatting based on tags and CSS instructions. HTML5 is the current version of HTML, released in 2012. It's supported by all major browsers and includes new tags for multimedia, graphics, and semantic structure, and forms. Modern web development relies heavily on HTML5's capabilities. HTML identifies elements like paragraphs, lists, images, while CSS controls how those elements appear. CSS defines colors, alignment, spacing, borders, and more. Separating structure from style makes web design more flexible and maintainable. Here is an example of web page rendered in a browser. It demonstrates how HTML structure and CSS styling combine to produce a final visually organized web page. Here we see the underlying HTML for the previous example. It highlights how code defines structure, text, images, and layout, while CSS manages the visual design. Browsers interpret this code to display the page accurately. HTML tags appear within angled brackets like body or P. Elements typically include start and end tags, and everything between them is the content. Tags tell the browser what the kind of content follows. The full HTML document sits between HTML and /HTML. The head section contains metadata like the page's title or CSS. The body contains everything displayed on the screen. This structure helps separate data from presentation. When a browser renders a page, it uses HTML structure and CSS styles to lay out the content. It ignores extra white space in the HTML, adapts to window size, and reformats content to fit the user screen. This slide lists common HTML elements, paragraphs, horizontal rules, unordered and ordered lists, list items, and headings. Each provides semantic meaning, which helps both browsers and accessibility tools to interpret content. Again, I would suggest that you pause on each of these slides or video and go over each and every line of this presentation. Tag attributes. Attributes give tags additional information like styling rules, image sources, or hyperlinks. An image tag may include src equals to specify an image file, while a link tag uses href to identify a URL. Attributes make HTML more powerful and flexible. CSS styles can be included in external files, internal style sections, or inline attributes. This slide shows an external style sheet example. External files help keep HTML clean and allow universal styling across many pages. This slide shows CSS added within the head section or as inline styles. Inline styles apply to specific elements. Internal styles apply to the entire page. CSS cascades, meaning more specific rules override general ones. This slide shows a set of CSS rules controlling layout and link behavior. For example, classes like .banner can control image alignment, and link states visited, unvisited, overed can each display differently. These rules illustrate how CSS customizes page appearance. For example, margin auto centers images and link colors change depending on interaction. CSS allows designers to create visually appealing dynamic web pages. HTML5 adds semantic tags such as header, footer, section, and nav. These tags describe page regions more clearly, improving accessibility, search engine optimization, and code readability. Additional semantic tags include article, aside, and figure. This helps structure content logically. Articles for main content, aside for side information, and figures for annotated images. HTML5 supports dynamic content such as drop-down menus, asynchronous loading for faster pages, and new types of form inputs for emails, dates, ranges, and more. These additional make web forms more user-friendly and robust. Java applets. Java applets were small Java programs embedded in web pages and executed in browsers. A typical HTML snippet references the .class file and sets size parameters. Although outdated now, applets demonstrated early client-side interactive content. This slide shows a full HTML document containing an applet. And the applet runs on the client's machine and can respond interactively to user input. Applets are now largely replaced by JavaScript, HTML5, and other modern tools. Java Server Pages embed Java code called scriptlets within HTML. These scriptlets execute on the server and generate dynamic content before the page is sent to the browser. JSPs are useful for database-driven pages. Scriptlets appear between the less than percent and percent greater than tags. They allow complex logic or data processing to happen on the server. The resulting HTML sent to the user contains only the output, not the code. JSPs run server-side, making them ideal for sites that must fetch or update database information. In contrast, Java applets run client-side in the browser. This slide asks you to compare the two. Applets depend on browser support. JSP rely on the server. XML. XML allows users to describe document meaning rather than appearance. Unlike HTML, which controls layout, XML focuses on structuring data. XML is meta language, meaning it's used to define other markup languages. Here, this slide shows an example XML document containing book information. Like HTML, XML uses tagged data, but the tags describe content categories such as author or title, making the document self-descriptive. A document type definition, DTD, defines the allowed structure of an XML document. It specifies required elements, order, and hierarchy. Software uses DTDs to validate XML documents against expected formats. XML is versatile because it separates content from output. Stylesheet XSL can transform XML into web pages, PDFs, or custom formats. This makes XML ideal for data sharing across different systems. A social network connects people with shared interests. Modern platforms include TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. Earlier forms included bulletin boards, 6degrees, and MySpace. These platforms support communication, collaboration, and content sharing. Beyond online platforms, social networks are sociological concepts. They map interactions among individuals or organizations. Research into network go back to the 1800s, exploring how ideas and behaviors spread. Stanley Milgram's famous 6 degrees of separation study showed that most people are linked through short acquaintances chains. Ethical issues, the gambling. This slide raises question about online gambling. Internet gambling grew rapidly in the late 1990s with the rise of global hosting and offshore websites. Many sites are hosted in countries with lenient regulations. Risks include fairness concerns, lack of oversight, and challenges for governments trying to enforce laws or collect taxes. Regulations vary widely by region. This individual created something transformative. Answer is Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of World Wide Web. His creation fundamentally changed how information is accessed and shared globally. Here in the final slide, you should reflect on these questions and try to look up answers by yourself. The dancing spiders of Google refers to web crawlers that continuously index pages. Computers contribute to environmental sustainability through energy efficient hardware and smart systems. Wi-Fi standards evolved to improve speed, range, and security. In 2011, Facebook changed its image tagging policy to require user permission due to privacy concerns. And finally, thinking before you tweet matters because digital footprints affect reputation and employment opportunities. I hope you enjoyed this session. See you in the next class. Here now.